Hello, Pisces. Welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm so happy to have you guys here. It's been a wild moment. I'm sorry I didn't see you for a couple of days. Had a lot happening. But I am back now. And so let's get diving into your reading. Let's see what the energies are right now. If you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome. I am very happy to have you here. These are general readings, so just keep that in mind. Take what resonates and leave the rest. To those of you who are subscribers, regular commenters, sharers, likers of my videos, I just want to say thank you so much for your support. All right, you guys. Yeah. Guys, I know that some of you are facing troubling times. I know that some of you are, in the middle of some kind of upheaval or big transition in your life, just, from private clients or clients of private readings. And we're all on different timelines. So some of us may be in it and some of us may be here kind of making the most of an opportunity that we've been given. Just know this too shall pass. And, it is like Maya Angelou says, every storm runs out of rain. So if you're in that part of the cycle, know that it will change. If you are in the part of the cycle where you are experiencing an opportunity or where it's like you've been led, I feel like, in a certain direction, even possibly by your own intuition or even spirit guides, saints. I feel with this opportunity card, with this eagle, like almost emerging from the crown chakra here. There is a warrior-like energy. Like, you do have to fight through the difficulties in life sometimes to arrive at the other side, to get to the place where the opportunity is. Or to get to the place of safety where you can look back on it and go, wow, that was actually the beginning of this opportunity. A lot of times we have to make space for opportunity to come in. And if we aren't doing it ourselves, divine will intercede. We see that with the Tower card. Divine intervention kind of energy where things sometimes have to fall apart so that we can let them go, so that we can make space for a new foundation or for something that's more in alignment with our own energy, which is what I'm getting here with this inspiration card. It's like a new day dawning and like rising up out of, almost some difficulty or some trying times where it's like it may not have been clear why you needed to experience it or how you were going to get through it, or, that even possibly the sun was already rising on that horizon before you could see it. Right? The sun is coming up to the horizon and then passing by the horizon. So we don't see it while it's making its rise. While happiness is working to come into our lives, a lot of times we do not see it coming. But you have this happiness, joy of life, and it appears that it's something that is either here for some of you or coming. It's on its way. All right, we have the Hidden Realms deck, so I'm going to look at anything that may be hidden right now. Speaking of the sun rising without us being able to see it. For Pisces, please, Spirit. Yeah, you're going through a transformation. It literally says intuition. Oh my gosh, you guys, man, your readings have been so profound lately. The energies, this Wand Queen is, and it is important that it's a queen. Queen energy is receptive energy. It means that we just have to open up to receive it. We don't have to chase it. We don't have to make it happen. We don't have to bring it about. We have to just accept what is and allow it to come to us on its terms. But with the Cosmos on the bottom of the deck, it is reminding you that you are a conscious creator in this universe, and what you think about, you do bring about. Your thoughts are very, 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 very powerful. I have friends that are psychics. I also read a lot of books and watch a lot of psychics videos and stuff that they make. People that I really respect, like James Van Prague. And psychics a lot of times will talk about like, gosh, if human beings only really could totally understand how powerful thought is and the energy that it carries. That's why, you know, you don't want to wish ill on other people, because that's what you're manifesting, but you're manifesting it for yourself, you know, and we are all connected. So wishing something bad for someone else, you're connected to that energy, you're connected to that person, so it will hurt you. And so we want to be really careful what we're creating. We want to be really positive with our creations. And, you know, oftentimes it's like we'll get into a patch in life where, you know, things kind of suck and we're just sort of grinding it out. We're just trying to make it work. We're trying to find our way through it. We're trying to get to the other side. And we stop thinking in terms of what do I want? What is lacking? What is missing? And we stop seeing all the options and opportunities to change what is having this negative effect on us. And anything, it's like a snowball that starts out of control. So like, if you've got a friend and, you know, that friend is really having a kind of negative effect on you, they're sort of, when you get together and you're talking about the good things that are happening in your life, and they're like, well, I don't know, that doesn't really sound good. And you think, oh, I see right through it. It's fine. Like, it's not affecting me. It's all right. Or you have a job where you feel like people are really taking advantage of you, that you keep trying to hold a boundary with them and they're not accepting it. And they keep steamrolling it, or they keep you in a space where you're always afraid that you're going to lose your job, or they keep reminding you how replaceable you are, or, you know, whatever. And, you know, your mind, you say, well, I see that for what it is, and I'm not going to let that bother me. But you are thinking about it. And when you think about it, you know, you intensify it and you bring those things about. So it'll start in one little area of your life, but it'll spread into other areas of your life where suddenly your self-doubt is growing in a lot of different places. Or suddenly, you know, this feeling of like, am I worthy? Or feeling like you need to prove your worthiness to anyone ever. You don't. It will cross across other parts of your life, you know? So this feels like, with this cosmos on the bottom of the deck, you know, if you keep bringing your mind back around to what you're trying to create and what's really important to you and the kind of life that you want to live, you're going to bring it about. And if you keep your life clear of the things that are not in alignment with that, you're going to bring it about much easier. It's crazy when you make some small changes, how profoundly that will affect your life, how it spreads, and how it also kind of gets in your system and makes you want more or want bigger things, or, you know, see more for yourself, or, you know, it's a snowball going in a different direction, right? So let's look. I have some relationship energies here. So we'll take a look at that real quick here for Pisces. Please, Spirit, what can you show us for Pisces? All right. It seems like even for a lot of you, in your, man, Pisces, this is all about change. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. You have on the bottom of the deck, open yourself up to changes. So there's a lot that wants to change in your life. And sometimes change feels really bad. Sometimes change feels like a tower. And especially when we're not ready for it, a lot of times the tower energy takes us by surprise. We don't see it coming, and everything is just falling apart. You know, if you're able to keep the perspective that sometimes things are falling apart for you, for your benefit, because you may have just gotten in a rut, or you know, an energy of just like, oh, it's fine, I see the problem with it, and as long as I'm seeing the problem with it, or I you know, whatever this energy is, it's kind of like sometimes you need the push from Mother Nature is kind of how it's feeling. You have here, somebody wants to open the X-Files. For some of you, this may be your person's energy. It may not be yours. For others of you, that may be your energy. But there's definitely a lot of change taking place here for you, Pisces. And it does feel like for you. I would not be surprised to see the Wheel of Fortune. You have somebody wants to open the X-Files. Proceed with caution. Your wish is about to be granted. Hang in there. Forgive to release these karmic cycles, and time to reconsider this. On the bottom of the deck, you have, like I said, open yourself up to changes. And, you know, especially with it sitting right here next to the Swan Queen, it's another remembrance that, you know, sometimes we have to consciously open ourselves up to what the universe is trying to tell us, or where the universe is trying to guide us. You know, I get this with this eagle energy here, and I get this with this card, and I get this with this card. We just have to, you know, allow ourselves to become part of the flow. One with the flow is how it's really coming through. And, you know, allow ourselves to be guided. And even when it feels really scary, and even when we want to take over, and even when we want to control, let me tell you, we are not in control. We are in control of our thoughts, and that's it. So if your thoughts, you know, if you're struggling with your thoughts, or you're struggling to keep your thoughts on this energy of creation and what you're trying to manifest and what you're trying to call into your life and align with in your life, you may want to adopt some kind of mantra, or, you know, like, what I am seeking is seeking me, or, you know, I accept change. I am open to change. I'm open to what wants to come towards me, or what wants to come into my life, which can be scary, right? Because, you know, we don't know what it is. And especially when, it's always scary to give up control. It's always, you know, I don't know why this is giving me, the energy of, I don't know if you guys have ever taught your kids how to drive. It is one of the most stressful things I have ever experienced in my life. And not that my kids are bad drivers, or not that, you know, they weren't, you know, I don't want to say like easy to teach. But it is terrifying when you put someone behind the wheel of your car. It's usually your car, and you let them drive. There was a country road out by where I lived when my kids were learning how to drive, and I would take them both out there, and I would, you know, say, okay, get in the driver's seat, you know, you're driving. And it was always terrifying. The look of sheer terror on their face too, of like, well, what happens if I wreck? What happens if a car comes down the street? What happens if this? What happens if that? And it's like, I can't control everything. You know, I just sort of have to be like, this is a rite of passage. It's something you have to learn. You have to be an independent human. You have to be able to get yourself from point A to point B. You know, I can't drive you everywhere forever. And so we're going to just have to, both of us, allow the fear to be a part of the process, but we're going to have to focus through it and try to just focus on the task at hand, and really, you know, honing in on this, developing this skill. I remember learning how to drive. My mom was like, she took us to this graveyard that was huge, and she would just yell like, don't do that, you're going too fast, put your foot on the brake. You know, you couldn't gain anything from the experience because it was so stressful. You couldn't even get oxygen to your brain because you were just like, you know, sort of terrified behind the wheel. So it's like, you know, we can white knuckle it in life. We can, you know, try to, you know, make everything go our way and never experience anything quote unquote bad, or never experience any kind of suffering, and just try to steer our ship and steer it away from anything like that, and stay hyper vigilant and kind of never relax and look at everything as if it is a potential threat or something that maybe we should be afraid of, you know. Or we can just open up to life, and we can accept, like, these people are in my life for a reason. This happened for a reason. This is, you know, what potential good thing could come from this? Where could this lead me? Where, you know, is this that excuse I was looking for to start my own business, or to go back to school, or to, you know, whatever. It's kind of, it's like, how we navigate is up to us. what we allow our thoughts to, you know, kind of do, where we allow our thoughts to go, what thoughts we allow to multiply or to kind of drive the car. That's up to us. That is the one thing that we control. And if you really think about it, it's the only thing that matters. It is the only thing that matters. It's not what's happening to us, it's how we're feeling about it, how we're thinking about it, what we allow ourselves to tell ourselves about it. You know, the Three of Swords is the card that represents suffering in tarot. And it isn't the actual moment that the thing happens that sets us off on this course of suffering. It's the Three Swords that we bring to it. What we tell ourselves about it, what we think about it, what we allow ourselves to, you know, and a lot of it, you know, is so unconscious. You know how they talk about, are you woke or whatever? Like, I don't know what, I don't really pay attention to that kind of energy of like labeling people and labeling things like that. But there is this kind of asleep behind the wheel way of living that a lot of people do, or maybe we all sort of start out that way, where we just sort of allow our thoughts to go in whatever direction our thoughts go, and we don't feel the need to rein them in or to direct them or to ask ourselves, is this serving my highest and best, or is this really hurting me, draining me, causing my own suffering? And for me, what it means to be woke is to live consciously, where it's like you are asking yourself that, or you are making an observation of, wow, you know, I'm kind of going down a bad path, or wow, you know, I'm feeling these thoughts that I've been having, you know, maybe I'm wishing ill on somebody. That's not me. That's not who I am. That's not really what I want. I don't want to be causing someone else pain, which through that would be causing me pain. You know, I want to remember the connectedness. I want to hope that that person, you know, learns something from the experience, or, you know, find some way to evolve or grow, or that, you know, and I'm trusting that the divine is going to settle the score. I'm trusting that the divine is going to balance the situation out, because our, you know, our universe is one of balance. It is one of symmetry. It is one of, you know, order in the chaos. And so if we put our faith in the divine, one, we don't have to carry the burden anymore. And two, you know, we are not incurring karma because someone did something wrong to us. You know what I'm saying? We're letting the universe handle it. And there are absolutely times where you need to defend yourself and you need to stand up for yourself and whatever. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just sitting there wishing someone evil, or just sitting there thinking of scenarios where that person would suffer the way that they caused your suffering, or you feel they caused your suffering. But, you know, really when you look at it, a lot of it is your own thinking about the situation. You know, people may bruise our egos, or people may, you know, even... we just can't control other people and what other people are going to do. We can only control ourselves. And when you engage on someone else's level, you know, and I saw this thing on Threads the other day, and it was like, never respond to the insulter. Like, their entire purpose is to get you out of your place of peace, you know, off of your space of solidity. And, you know, if that is someone's sheer purpose, they will say anything. They will do anything to get you to move. So the only option you have is to not respond. But there are some cases where, you know, there is something that has happened that is not, you know, that's like illegal, and it's illegal for a reason. And then it's like, you know, we may need to do something about that, or we may need to take an action step about that. Not always, you know, you have to listen to your own intuition. I'm definitely not trying to advise you or tell you what to do here. But you have this energy with forgive to release these karmic cycles and time to reconsider this, where, you know, I do sort of feel, and sometimes you need to take the action step. You need to put the ball in motion to level the scales yourself. And that's part of what helps you release it. Absolutely, that is a scenario that happens, you know. You mean that's justice, you know. But you have this energy, which is kind of like, as long as you're still carrying a burden of suffering, or you're still carrying a burden from a past situation, you can't totally close out the cycle. You know, we need to get to the 10 of Wands, and we need to let it all go. We need to just say, okay, enough is enough. I'm not prepared to let this continue to affect me, and I'm putting it down. I'm letting this cycle play out. I'm letting it be done. I don't want to suffer anymore because of this. And I'm making that decision, and I'm making that choice. Oftentimes that's when you'll see the karmic justice come into play. You know, when you are able to set it down. You have somebody who wants to open the X files. Proceed with caution. Some of you may be having an ex come back around. This may be someone who did put you through the 3 of Swords or cause your suffering. This may be a moment for you to kind of forgive this person, let this situation go, and then see how you feel about it. Or see what kind of energy they're coming to the table with. Have they really changed? Or, you know, are they really aware of what they did to cause the suffering? And are they not going to do it again? Because if they're unaware, or they deny it, or they don't, you know, they're not going to change. And you have your wish is about to be granted. Hang in there. You know, things are going to change. Every storm runs out of rain. There is an opportunity coming in here, Pisces. And it feels like it is right around the corner for some of you, and it feels like some of you are really holding it in your hands. You are really inspired by this moment in your life that you have really worked hard to create or to bring about. And sometimes when we get this, open yourself to change, you know, when especially we've been through some kind of difficult cycle, or some kind of cycle where things generally haven't worked out for us, it's hard for us to bring our mind around to match the energy that's actually happening in our life. It's hard for us to bring our mind around to the space of trusting this opportunity and this experience, so that we can actually sort of really sit in the seat of happiness. It's a very hard thing for a lot of people to actually be happy, to experience happiness. So that may be part of it too. Let's dive into the tarot. For Pisces, please, Spirit, for Pisces. Wow, you have the Star card. So the Star comes right after the, wow, Heap of Justice. And the Star card comes right after the Tower. And this is where we start to receive our wish fulfillment. So you have the Magician and the Emperor and Justice. The Magician and the Emperor, this could have been a tricky person. I just want to clarify this. It can also be where you're starting to realize that you have a lot more tools, or that you're a lot more able to navigate life than you thought you were. That like you don't need to control it, because you actually have every tool in your toolbox to survive it, to get through it, to navigate it. So you can really accept it as it comes, because you're empowered. So for some of you, I think it means that. For others of you, I do feel like this is talking about a person that may have left you out in the cold. Yes. They may have been someone who really taught you a lot about what you're worth, or even to appreciate what you have. Sometimes, you know, we want to be in a partnership, or we want to be in a connection, and we will sort of get in a relationship with someone who's not really the right person. With the Magician and the Emperor, this can be someone who's a bit controlling, or who really comes across one way but is someone totally different. Like, they come in acting like they're the hero, like they have everything together, like they know everything about everything, that they're uniquely qualified for something. And what happens is they're probably really insecure and projecting, or with the Magician, they can be kind of deceitful. Anyway, they can leave you worse off than they found you. And with the Queen of Wands, it's kind of like, you know, coming to this place where you really realize that your life before you met this person was actually something that you'd worked hard to manifest and to bring about and to align with. And that, you know, you certainly were not better for having this person. I don't know how to describe this so perfectly, but it's kind of like realizing that you want what you have, or you wanted what you had, or what you had was actually something that you desired. Sometimes we don't appreciate the simplicity of our life, you know, and then something comes in and complicates it. And we all and we feel like we've lost our peace, and we may, you know, with the Five of Pentacles, maybe you've even lost money. But there's just this energy of, you know, man, I kind of wish I had what I had before this person came into my life, kind of energy. So or like I was actually happy, or things weren't actually terrible, or, you know, something like that. Okay, well, there is something with justice here coming in to level something out, coming in to sort of bring this energy back around again. And there is a sense here that you are going to appreciate it now, maybe more than you did before. It's always interesting too to think the life we're living is something that we brought into being, that we manifested. And so there are parts of it anyway that are probably really showing this. So for some of you, the group, and you can be both of these storylines, okay? The group that I was talking to you about, you know, that you have discovered that you have the tools, like, you know, Sir Swami Satchidananda, that's who I credit this quote to, although a lot of people have been credited with it. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf kind of energy. It's like there's almost this waking up, realizing that I know how to surf. I can surf. I'm not afraid. You know, once you realize you're a good surfer, and it's going to take a hell of a wave to get you down, if there is even such a wave, because you're just so strong, and you're just so cemented into your pillar of consciousness, and people around you may be crappy, but you're not letting it affect you. You've learned how to not take things in or take things on that belong to other people. Like, no matter what it is, it shows, it's reflected in all of your choices, in all of your decisions. And this is coming from almost like a solidly confident place, these choices that you're making right now. And when you're making choices from this space, your life changes. What you see outside changes. And it's because you're not afraid. You're not living in a space of fear, of I can't handle it. if this happened, I can't handle it. If that happened, I've got to avoid that. I've got to white knuckle it. You know, my mom screaming at me as I'm trying to learn how to drive a car, you know, put the brakes on, dude. You know, you can learn almost nothing in that type of environment, you know. You're not going to get better at driving a car like that, really, you know. And so you have this kind of energy of coming from this space of, yeah, you know, when I drive a car, I don't even think about it. You know, I don't even, it doesn't scare me at all. You know what I mean? I mean, and even if I encounter someone who really doesn't know how to drive, I was literally driving, like, not yesterday, the day before, I was coming home from the grocery store, and I was coming around a bend in the road. We have a lot of pretty dramatic bends in the road in Florida, because especially where I live, there's a ton of lakes. And they crossed the center line and like almost came like head on at me. And I had to swerve off the road a bit to avoid this accident. But I trust myself. I trust my instincts. I know that I'm staying vigilant. You know, can I avoid every car accident? No. Am I aware of that? 100%. If somebody's going to run a red light or something, they're probably going to hit me. It's happened to me before. But I do know, I trust myself as a driver now. I trust myself in my toolkit. I trust that, you know, I know how to respond to things, and I have instincts now when it comes to driving, because I've done it so much. And that's kind of this energy. It's like, okay, you know how to surf. You have learned how to surf. And that's the strength of your stance is, you know, what is keeping you above board. It's what is keeping you like not in control, but afloat. And you don't need to be in control. And you know what? The more you're not trying to control, the more you can actually enjoy it. The more you can be like, damn, this is really fun. This is actually beautiful. You know, and that's how this energy feels for some of you. And with the Two of Wands, this is reflected in your decision-making process, and that you're enjoying life, and that you're not afraid of life, and that you trust yourself, and that you know that you're skilled, and you know that you can handle whatever's coming your way. And, you know, then you're not acting out of desperation, and you're not, you know, you're not accepting someone who you see tons of red flags. You're not going, oh, let me just overlook that because I really want to be in a connection right now. You're like, oh no, my place of peace, my ability to surf, my ability to just appreciate and enjoy what I have is not going to be enhanced by adding this person to my life. I can see that clearly. I can see that this person is probably going to do more to upset my ability to surf than to enhance it. And it's not worth it. And then you have this energy of justice clarified by the 10 of Wands in reverse. And you have the 8 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. So ultimately what's happening here is you're moving into a space, especially with the star card on the bottom of the other deck, where things are moving ahead without so many obstacles, without so many difficulties. And you are like, I want to say, getting very close to touching the sun. You know, you're getting into that wish fulfillment energy. You're getting into that energy of opportunity and inspiration and happiness. You know, when you have confidence in your ability to navigate life, and you have a sense of hope and optimism about you, you are going to tend to be very happy. And with justice here, this is something that needs to balance out so that a burdensome cycle can be released. Maybe this is an apology from someone. Maybe this is true justice. Maybe it's actually a court decision. Maybe it's, I mean, you guys are coming to me with a lot of things that are not love right now. And I mean, some of you are coming to me with love things, but I mean, I do private readings on Monday, and every Monday, I would say 50% of you are coming to me with something that isn't love, that is a real trial and tribulation in your life. A lot of you are facing a lot of really tricky and trying things, and things that can bring about a lot of fear And fear does not help. It never helps. You know, if the building you're in is on fire, being afraid and giving into that fear and being like, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid, I'm so afraid, I'm so afraid, that's not going to help you get out of that situation alive. What's going to help you get out of that situation alive is relaxing and letting your mind and your intuition really work to guide you out of it safely, to make the best sound choices that are there for you. And that's kind of this energy, and it feels like there is this burdensome cycle that you're definitely at the end of. You're definitely over it, but there's something that needs to balance out in order for you to completely release it. And this may be a court decision. This may be you know, even karmic justice with the justice card. You know, it may be that, you know, I'm going to actually leave it like that, because every example I can think of, I just cannot handle. You guys, when I make examples out of people, out of, you know, we're all dealing with the same set of celebrities or the same set of famous people. When I'm using someone as an example, I'm not endorsing them. I'm not condoning their behavior. I am simply speaking their name, because we all will recognize that name and we will all recognize something about that story together. We may see it from different perspectives. You may see it your way. I may see it mine. We don't need to discuss it. We don't need to discuss it in the comments. We don't need to write about it. That isn't the purpose. That isn't the point. And like, whether I agree with what you're saying or I don't, I just don't want it here. So I'm just not even going to use an example here, because the example I can think of, I'm sure, is another controversial person. And it sucks, because examples are one of the better ways for you to get a message. But this is just, I literally can't handle it right now. All right, so I'm moving on. But yeah, don't need it. Don't want it. Don't even want to hear it. Yeah, so you've got the Devil here with the Knight of Swords, and then you have Judgment here. And this is this energy of like the building's on fire. How am I what's my best strategy to get out? Is it, let me just act really fast and just make a whole bunch of moves and let this fear control me? Like, let me go into panic mode and just try to run for my life without developing a strategy and trying to really think about how fire moves and what's a smart decision. If I open this door, what's going to be the result of it? Before I open the door, am I going to get like a backdraft into this room? If I open this window, am I going to bring oxygen into the situation and fuel the fire? Like, I don't know anything about fire or the way that it works, but I'm just saying there's a difference between judgment. And do you even see, like, in this particular Judgment card, the look on her face and the fact that she has a third eye open? And I literally said to you, it's the energy of like letting your mind and your intuition guide you, like letting any wisdom that you may have, plus your instinctual wisdom, your attachment, your connection to your own highest and best self, to get you through a difficult situation. This is the energy we want to be in. This is a very calm energy. This is an energy that we have our best chance at navigating what's in front of us with this energy. With the Devil and the Knight of Swords, this is like those unchecked thoughts. This is like that energy of not living consciously, of just being like, oh my gosh, you know, there's a fire, I'm scared, I could die, da 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 da. And like, I'm just reacting and I'm just responding, and I'm like using twice as much oxygen because I'm just panting, I'm breathing hard, I'm freaking out, you know, I'm giving into the fear, I'm giving into the lower vibrational energies. Wow. Wow. Okay. So, wow. Oh my God. You guys, seriously, these cards are crazy, crazy, crazy. With the Devil is being clarified by the Wheel of Fortune, and the Knight of Swords is being clarified by the King of Swords. And especially, this is very profound, especially because I usually don't talk a lot about using our mind to get us through something, right? But I keep getting that. You do have wisdom. You do have a mind that can get you kind of logically or analytically through a situation. And when you combine that skill with your intuition, just your gut instinct, what your intuition is telling you, there's actually this terrible story about this nightclub that caught on fire in northern Kentucky. It's like a suburb of Cincinnati, Ohio. And I watched like a documentary on it a while ago. I can't remember what it's called, but it literally caught on fire, and the way the fire spread, I don't know, so many people died. It was packed, and I think it was like overcrowded. And, but some people got out, and they were interviewing those people, and this one person was like, I could just hear a voice in my head saying, turn right. And if I would have turned left, I would have died, but I turned right. I listened to that voice. It's that energy that I'm literally getting right here. And when you have the Knight of Swords, this is someone who's acting without having a long-term plan. This is someone who's just like, I feel like I have to do this. I know I got to do this. Like my brain is telling me that I want to do this, and I'm just going to rush in, and I'm just going to do it without having a super big strategy other than just to do it and do it as fast as I can. And I'm not thinking about long-term ramifications. It's a bit of a reckless energy. It's not really grounded and centered in any way. It's just sort of like taking action for the sake of taking action because I have this thought that I want to do something right now, or that I need to change something outside of myself in order to make myself comfortable in this situation right now. With the King of Swords, this is where we're mastering this energy. You know, this energy does have a purpose. There is, and every energy has a light and a dark, right? Every energy has a spectrum. And the King of Swords understands where the value is in the Knight of Swords, because he's been there, he's done it. And in the King energy, he has mastered it. So he knows when it's important to make a move and to make a move fast. But he knows that that's not always appropriate, and that sometimes it's reckless. And he has sharpened his skill of thinking logically and analytically and making decisions that are going to count, that are in alignment with him and who he is and the outcome that he wants. And so this is someone who is super aligned and is making very sharp decisions. With the Devil being clarified by the Wheel of Fortune, this is what's changing. And you know how I said sometimes Mother Nature will just give you a tower because I don't want to say you're asleep at the wheel, but it's an energy of like, there's something wrong here and you're not really addressing it. You're just sort of going with it. You just keep going along with it, or you just keep trying to make the best of it, or you just keep trying to, you're kind of on autopilot. You're not really looking for other options or opportunities. You're just sort of like, this is my lot, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm at, and this is just the way it is. And there's not a lot of life in that. There's not a lot of like gumption in that, or like inspiration in that kind of action. And with the Wheel of Fortune, this is something that had to change. It was making you stuck. It was making you stuck to something that was toxic to you or toxic for you. Okay? And this can be your own way of thinking. This can be sort of a fait accompli attitude of just like, man, that's life, I guess, it just sucks, and I'm just here for the grind, and I can't really do anything to change it, and I can't really, this must be it for me, whatever it is, or this can be like a toxic relationship, some kind of toxic situation. I know that because you have the Devil here and you have the Devil here. It's something that needed to change. And if you're not going to change it, then Spirit's going to come in and Spirit's going to change it. And with the Wheel of Fortune here, this is something that is happening for you. It is freeing you from something that was toxic, that was keeping you stuck, so that you can move on to brighter pastures, toward more hope, toward more happiness, and toward the opportunities that are actually meant for you, including co-creating your own life with spirit, getting your head back in the game. All right. Oh, wow. That was super interesting, the way those came out. Okay. Oh my God, you guys, it's the Three of Swords. And you know what's crazy? I always go through my decks and I make sure all of my cards are upright. They will sometimes spin around when you're shuffling them. But this is upright Three of Swords, and this is in reverse Three of Swords, and it came up on the bottom of the deck in reverse. I'm going to turn it upright because that's just how I am. But you have two threes here. The Three of Wands with the Three of Swords, and then you have the Seven of Cups energy. And the Seven of Cups energy is fear and illusion. It's an energy where we're like, what if this happens? What if that happens? I should have done this. I could have done that. You know, it's sort of focusing on all the wrong things, you know, and sort of just letting your mind go down all those deep tunnels that it will take you if you let it. You know, that's the nature of our mind. It's a monkey mind. It's going to take you down every scenario it can come up with. And, you know, depending on its general, you know, personality or whatever, it can be pretty friggin' dark. You know, it can be pretty friggin' critical. It can be pretty freaking harsh. And you know, it can be the root and the cause of our actual suffering. Remember, I told you with the Three of Swords, it's those three swords that are in the heart, what we tell ourselves and what we think, that are actually prolonging our suffering and keeping us from healing. Because the faster we can let it go, the faster we can release it, the faster we can move from that past moment where that happened. It's already happened. It's over. We got to keep going forward. And we don't want to keep taking all of these stories and narratives and thoughts and things that are prolonging our suffering with us. We want to leave them where they sit. And sometimes we need to take an action step. Sometimes, you know, with this King of Swords, King of Swords, Knight of Swords energy, there may be some action that you need to take to bring about justice, right? And maybe once you do that, or you start that ball in motion, or that ball that possibly for some of you is in motion gets to a place of resolution, then naturally it's going to help you remove those swords. But when you're going through the situation, the more you can keep those swords at bay, whatever it is that you have to do, the better. You know, if you have to take up a new hobby, if you have to, anything that is going to make you focus in a direction that is positive, in a direction that holds a space of hope, or holds a space of potential accomplishment, or just something that you know is going to bring you joy. I mean, I tell you guys, like, I have a Jeep Wrangler that I don't ever have a roof on or windows in, and if I am feeling too like or my thoughts are getting the best of me, or I'm struggling with that, I will get in my Jeep and I will drive. And I'm telling you, man, you know, it cures everything. It really cures everything. I love that thing so much. I've not ever had a material possession that has ever brought me so much joy. And it's 20 years old, and it's not like some really like fancy thing. It's just perfect. It's a stick shift. It's amazing. I love it. Anyway, you also have the Three of Wands, and this is keeping life out in front of you. It's also understanding there's an ebb and flow of life, and sometimes things are taken away and sometimes things are coming in, and both are necessary. If we only had things coming in, we would all look like a bunch of hoarders. Our lives would be so crowded, there wouldn't be space to breathe. You know, we need the outflow too. And the outflow is honestly, it's symbolic of change. And, you know, in this particular Three of Wands with this, you know, butterfly at the top, which is always a symbol of transformation, and this water with these waves in the foreground here, you know, and she's standing on this rock, keeping life out in front of her, you know, keeping things in perspective, a safe perspective, a perspective that is reminding her that, yeah, sometimes it flows in and sometimes it flows out. And this is the nature of life. It will change. It is always in a constant state of change and flux. And with the Three of Wands, you know, you had that Two of Wands showing right there. It is showing that your decisions reflect kind of your attitude and how you're feeling about yourself and how you're feeling about life. And when we go from the Two of Wands to the Three of Wands, this is where we are really expecting what we are manifesting to come toward us. We know that things are going to come in. Things are going to get better. We are going to experience something different. And this is that remembrance. This is that attitude of, okay, you know what? The things that are happening outside of me can't come in unless I let it. You know, a ship is only going to take on water if it's got a hole in it. You know, it's not gonna, if it's whole and it's healthy, it's not gonna take on water, and it's going to float no matter what life kind of throws at it. And it's kind of the same thing with us. If we don't let things get to us, if we don't take on all these energies of the outside world, or we don't let our mind go, oh my God, I'm in a building and it's on fire and I could die, and just dive into the fear. If we go, hold on a minute, let me breathe. Let me check with my wisdom. What do I know about this? What is going to be smart? What is not going to be smart? You know? Because sometimes, like, I've heard, like, people will open a door, people will open a window and it fans the flames or something, and it actually makes the fire a whole lot worse. So, you know, it is always consulting our wisdom before taking action, right? And kind of, the more we go through life, the more we actually understand that we've survived 100% of our worst days. And they've always, you know, somehow, some way gotten better. We've always found our way through. Why would this time be any different? Why would it? You know? And so, and also, how is fear going to help us? How is, you know, just giving into the worst case scenario, how is that going to help? Especially when our thoughts are so powerful and what we think about, we bring about. So do you want to think about the worst case scenario, or do you want to go, hold on a second, let me get a breath. Let me relax. Let me have a perspective where it's all out in front of me. Let me remind myself that the only way this is going to sink my ship is if I let it. If I take it on and I let it get the better of me. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. That isn't going to help me. I'm going to keep it out in front of me. I'm going to keep it in perspective. And I'm gonna think, I'm gonna make the wise move. I'm gonna get a strategy, because the Three of Wands is planning and strategy also. I'm gonna look at where I want to go, because here we are expecting our manifestations to come in. We're expecting change. We're expecting something to come toward us and to make it better, to alleviate the situation, which is important, because when we're expecting that, guess what's gonna happen? That. But let me also take the planning and action steps. Let me also utilize my wisdom. Let me also, tap into my intuition and go, okay, what might this be trying to tell me? What are my options? Where can I go? What direction do I need to move in? How is it going to be that I'm going to get the best result from the situation that I find myself in? I have to get it out in front of me in order to know that, in order to see that. I have to zoom out. I have to take a deep breath, and I have to relax, and I have to remember that this is something outside of me, and I only take it in and take it on if I allow that. If I succumb to that panic, then that's when I'm going to take it on. I don't want to do that. And with the Seven of Cups here, it's just that reminder of your brain is going to give you scenarios that come from a space of fear and illusion. because you're human and because that's human nature. And so if you don't check it, if you don't, and it's going to tell you all the things you should have done, all the things you could have done to have avoided getting in this situation, all the decisions that you could have made. And you know where that's going to take you? That is going to take you right down the route of depression, where you think about all the things that you did that you can't undo, the decisions that you made at the time. And most of the time as people, we're not trying to sabotage ourselves. We're trying to help ourselves. So when you made that decision, you were doing so from a place that was your best understanding of things in that moment. So you've got to give yourself grace. You've got to let yourself off the hook. You got to stop beating yourself up, because what does beating yourself up do? It prolongs your suffering. It keeps those swords in your heart. So you got to let it go. And you got to make a decision. Am I going to give in to fear and illusion, or am I going to keep life out in front of me? It's really what your choice is here. And we've got to ask ourselves, what do we want? Because this is an opportunity to learn something, like a very critical surfing skill that is going to help you forever. It's one of those things that, like, once you do it once, you're building a pathway that you can come back to and use again and again and again and again. You know, as human beings, we're wired like this, but we have the opportunity here to evolve beyond this. Okay. And the circumstances in our life are giving us the opportunity to do just that. They're not trying to bring you down. They're trying to make you better. Wow. 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 I'm all about this. I am all about this. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, seriously, you got the Hermit on the bottom of the deck, which is that energy of relax and get it all out in front of you. Think about the outcome that you want, that you desire. What is the top thing? With the Seven of Cups, that's also where we can also get into a revenge mind state, where we're blaming someone for making us so miserable. And we can sometimes focus on all the things that could happen that would be not great to that person, that would feel satisfying to us. And that's revenge thinking. And we don't want to do that, because then we're part of the problem. Then we're engaging in an energy that's beneath us. And so we don't want to do that. And it pretty much almost always will backfire and bring it about in your life. And you don't want to make things worse. This is one of those scenarios where you're like, okay, the main goal here is to just not make it worse. You know, it's like, okay, we got to find what's good, and we got to focus on that. And we got to focus with the Hermit energy on what it is we want. Okay. And where it is we're trying to come out of this thing. And with the Four of Swords and the Three of Wands, this is that energy of taking a deep breath, putting your thoughts that are creating suffering. You can see right here, there's three swords on the wall. Let's remove them from our heart. Let's give ourselves a break from the suffering. Let's put all those thoughts that cause suffering up on the wall. Let's give ourselves a little space from it, so that we can find clarity, so that we can find peace, so that we can bring ourselves back to a place where we can have a strong stance on our surfboard. Because we've got some big waves rolling in, and we need to be putting ourselves at the best, most advantageous place to take them on. And that requires us to remove the suffering from our own mind and from our own heart, so that we can have clarity, so that we are facing those waves in our most focused, strongest, stanced self. You got the Seven of Cups clarified by the Lovers. And this is a choice. You know, am I going to give in to fear and illusion? Am I going to let my mind run unbridled down these paths that I know damn well are not serving me because they're making me miserable? Or am I going to focus on what I want? And some of you may want a new soulmate. And that may not be the answer to the problem that you have in your life. Like the problem that you have in your life may be, work or job or housing or location or, it could be anything, right? But it may be that what you really need to do is manifest a person, manifest a soulmate. Because that may be what you really want, is just to not be alone going through these situations, is to have a person that's there with you and is ready to celebrate the outcome, something really good happening here. That may be, but this is a choice. And I feel like more importantly, this is talking about choice. The Lover's card is talking about choice. It used to be called the choice. And with the Seven of Cups, it's like, okay, do I want to focus on the stuff that makes me feel like crap and that takes me down a bad path? Or do I want to focus on the stuff that makes me feel love, that makes me feel like I'm supported by the universe and that things usually turn out okay in the end? It may not be perfect. I may not get like my wildest, biggest dream fantasy situation here, but what I am going to get is something that I can hang my hat on, something solid. I'm going to get to the other side. I'm going to get to a quieter, calmer time. And this time, I'm going to have more gratitude for it. I'm not going to let something come in and disrupt it. That way, wow, under that Queen of Wands, you guys, is the Ace of Pentacles. You have something coming in. You have good stuff coming in, Pisces. Regardless of where you're exactly at in this scenario, you do have good stuff coming in. Your cards have been amazing. All right. And keep in mind that if this isn't resonating as your energy, but you think it may be your person's energy, that is completely fine too. Listen to your own intuition and just take what resonates. I just have to get one more. I just can feel it. Okay. I said one more and like a whole chunk fell out, but we're good with it. All right. So you guys have the Eight of Swords and the Star card energy. So, okay. You know how I said there's this energy of possibly a situation that doesn't allow us to grow, and we're not looking for opportunities. The Eight of Swords is self-entrapment, and it's a way of thinking where we're not seeing opportunity. We're not seeing options. We're not seeing any other way but the way that it is. And so it's not really sustainable. It's not really in our best interest to be that way, to be in that energy. Part of the beauty of being human, and like Buddha says this, every new day is it's a new opportunity to live a completely different life or to live a completely different way. And everything starts with your thoughts. And so, that is one of the beautiful, beautiful things about being human, is that we can change. We can do different. We can learn new things. We can heal. We can expand. We can explore. We can replace this feeling of being trapped and that there's only one way with hope and optimism. We can regenerate. We can believe in the goodness of our wishes and the possibility of our wishes and our own limitless nature, that we have the capacity to create this life for ourselves, to actually live this life, to embody it, to be in alignment with it, to bring our energy to a place that matches it, with the Star card and the Eight of Swords. Then you have the Six of Wands, and you've got the Three of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles in reverse. And this a lot of you are facing, there's all kinds of scenarios that are coming up here with these cards that you guys are facing. That where it's like, you know, some of you may be facing like a third party situation, or you may be facing even like a group of people who seem to be dimming your light or seem to be diminishing your worth. This could even be like a company that you work for, or a group of frenemies, or a group of plain old enemies. It can be, you know, your coworkers that are sabotaging you, or that seem to be in a clique where they all get along and you're disincluded. I mean, this can be a million different scenarios, okay? But whatever the scenarios are, they're meant to make you feel, they're meant to make you question your worth. They're meant to make you, with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, not understand how good you actually are, or how solid you actually are. They're really meant to undermine you from the inside out. And I really want to say right here, and please, I swear to God, please do not put a comment, and I do not want to hear it. But, you know, people talk about how Russia has created a bunch of disinformation through social media. They're putting out like information that would seek to divide us, the United States, from each other. You know, and because we are inherently valuable. We are a democracy. We have freedom, and that is opposed to their situation over there. Okay, I don't care. I'm not in this for the politics. I'm using this as an example only. I'm not condoning any behavior. I'm not saying anything, but that is a larger scale of something that's showing up here in the cards, okay? Of just that people will seek to make you question yourself. They will use your goodness, or your abundance, your capacity to create abundance, your capacity, what is solid and stable about you. They will seek to undermine that energy and make you question it from the outside by, you know, maybe being like, oh, we're very cool. We're always doing fun things, and we're always posting things on social media about how amazing we are and how much fun we're always having. And that you're not invited and you're not included. You know what I'm saying? And it's like meant to make you feel that way. And the thing is, it is always our choice whether we allow ourselves to take on that energy or not. Because chances are those people, those friendships are very superficial. It's all about optics for those people. How does it look? What, you know, does it look good? Do I look good? Do the people I'm with make me look good? How much fun do we look like we're having? Like, what's going on here? And it's meant to make you, they're putting it out there for you to kind of question yourself, or ask, you know, why am I not being included? Is there something wrong with me? It may be that you're better looking than they are, and they won't look as good in the picture because you're better looking. That's actually a scenario from a book or a movie or something. I think it might be Mean Girls or something like that. But you know, if you're prettier than they are, then they don't want you in the picture with them because they look less pretty. You know what I'm saying? It just could be the dumbest thing. And with the Four of Pentacles in reverse, it's like, let that shit go. You know, don't hold on to it. Don't take it on. Don't let it cause a hole in your ship that's going to cause your ship to sink. Just don't take it on. It's our choice what we let in and what we don't. And so when, like, you just accept that you're a flower blooming, and the flower blooming does not compare itself to the flower blooming next to it. It just blooms. Our worth isn't established in comparison to someone else. Our worth is equal across the board. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience. Our worth is inherent that we are here right now having this experience. As I said before, you're a living, breathing miracle. You know, I mean, when you think about how miraculous it is that you're here, that you got here, that you were made, that it's possible to make new humans the way we make new humans, that it's possible for you to be experiencing health, that it's possible for you to even have a brain that can think all of these really intense thoughts, and that has the power to control them and has the power to create, you know, what's in front of you. And, you know, I mean, like, holy crap, the more you think about it, the more mind-blowing it actually is. And with this Six of Wands here, it's showing you that you can have victory over this. And it comes from having confidence in your own ability to navigate life and in who you are. And if you're confident about who you are, and you're confident that your worth is a God-given right, it's inherent in the experience that you're having and the fact that you are living and breathing in here, then no one can ever make you question that. No one can ever touch that for you. And so it's letting all of that shit go and not paying attention to it. Not, you know, because the minute you pay attention to it, you engage with it. You say, yeah, that matters. It doesn't matter. If you never say it matters, it doesn't matter. And you guys can come to me with all kinds of scenarios and be like, you're going to tell me that that doesn't matter. You're going to tell me that that doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. If you decide and determine that you know who you are, and you know the goodness of who you are, and you know the miracle that is you, then no, it doesn't matter what other people think about you. It's none of your fucking business. That is a reflection of them. What you think about them is a reflection of you. So if you think those people have something that you don't have, or that those people are worthy of being envious about in any possible way, shape, or form, then what is that saying about you? You with you, your relationship with yourself, that you think you're not good enough. It's just a reflection of that. Once you figure that out, and once you go, oh, okay, but I am good enough. And it's kind of like reprogramming your mind to be like, no, my worth is inherent. It absolutely is. That's not a questionable thing. The fact that people have made you question it is gross, because it is a God-given right. It is inherent in the experience that you're having, and the fact that you are a living, breathing miracle right here. You get to say what matters to you and what doesn't matter to you. You are the one that validates yourself. You are the one that says, yes, I am worthy. I know that I'm worthy. I'm not going to let that shit affect me, because it's dumb. It's not even true. And the minute I engage with it, I say it matters. I give that credence. I give that a platform. I give that what it's wanting, which is for me to acknowledge that it's somehow more worthy than me. And really, no, it's not. Okay, I don't know. I hope that helps. But with the Six of Wands, you're aligning with success. And it comes from within. And it comes from realizing your worth and your value and your ability to be successful and to be the victor and the champion, and to not give a flying fig what people think about you, or how they see you, or how they interpret you. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. You don't have to get somebody ever outside yourself to say, yeah, you're valid. Okay. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone, ever. Just to yourself. And when you do it with yourself, everyone will know. They're not going to mess with you. Those people are not going to mess with you. They know they're not going to succeed. And you know what that does? That shows them their own reflection. And they can't handle it. Nobody wants to look like that. Nobody wants to look that desperate and that pathetic, because that's really what it is. Searching for validation outside themselves. My value is dependent on your not value. My worthiness is dependent on you being unworthy or less worthy than me. Nobody wants to see that in their reflection. That's gross. All right. Wow. All right, you guys have the Queen of Swords over here, clarifying this Eight of Swords and the Star card energy. And the Queen of Swords, this is a really beautiful energy sometimes. Of course, I would say that because I'm a Libra and the Queen of Swords is a card of Libra. But it's an energy where we have come to a place where we are very discerning, where we see things automatically for what they are. We're seeing things very clearly, and we're not afraid to cut things off, including our own thought process sometimes when we need to. Like, that's taking me down a bad path, I cut that off. Or, you know, even things that are coming at us or trying to make us feel like we're not worthy, like messages that are coming to us from other places that are trying to make us question ourselves. You know, this is an energy where it's like, no, I keep it out in front of me. I keep life out in front of me. I see it for what it is. And I'm an amazing surfer, and I'm surfing the shit out of these waves, and I'm not going to let you bring me down. And I'm not going to let you take me out of a place where I'm able to enjoy the process of surfing. Like, screw you. And if that's your goal, you know, may it backfire. May that energy come right back to you. May you receive the energy that you are putting out. With the Six of Wands, this Queen of Pentacles, this Three of Cups, and this Four of Pentacles in reverse, and the Hierophant, this is a spiritual ascension. This is you moving from the place that you are, you with you, to a higher, better place. And with the Hierophant, he is the gatekeeper to the spiritual world. This is where you're moving out of the really super heavy and hard material world into something that is far more soul driven rather than human driven, to where you're seeing things the way that they are, and you're seeing life as a teaching tool and a lesson and an experience where there is really no good or no bad. It's all an experience, and you're not feeling like everything is happening to you. You're feeling like, oh, this everything falling apart in my life right now is actually working out great for me. This is actually clearing space so that a new experience can come in, a better experience, an experience that, you know, I've worked hard to get to. So, you know, you have the Four of Wands on the bottom of the deck, guys. And the Four of Wands is one of the best energies in the tarot deck. You always have this, Pisces. You always have the most amazing cards in the end of just like, you're gonna do this. It's changing. You're doing it. You're moving through this energy. You're moving through this dense, heavy shit into something that is lighter and happier and more joy-filled experience. With the Four of Wands, this is always representational of where what we are manifesting comes into real life. It comes into our experience. It manifests in the physical world. And this is a much nicer way to live than white knuckling it. I guarantee you, my kids, when they were learning to drive, I mean, they have no idea how lucky they are, although they can imagine because they, of course, knew my mother. But, you know, when I was telling them, just relax, just breathe, and my energy wasn't focused on my own fear in the situation, but my energy was focused on their fear in the situation and having empathy and compassion for them, remembering my own experience. And I was able to say to them, it's okay, just relax, you're not going to wreck. You can go a little bit faster. Now, okay, let's try to add a turn signal into the situation. Can you turn on the turn signal while you're driving without like wrecking the car? Okay, amazing. Now let's add this. Okay, now let's start checking our mirrors every 30 seconds. You know, that's a way where you're going to learn and you're going to grow a lot more, and you're going to enjoy it a lot more, and you're going to know that you're creating a memory that isn't traumatic for both you and your kid, you know, versus the, I gotta control everything, I gotta make everything happen, oh my God, I hate being out of control, I can't believe this kid is in control of this car, should slam on the brake, stop, no, you don't drive like that, don't do this, da 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 da. No, we don't. This is not pleasant. This is not something we want to remember. This isn't an experience where we can enjoy anything, even the good things that are there. When we let go and we trust and we know that we have the tools to surf and we know that we have what it takes to survive and that we've already survived 100% of our worst days. So even our own experience is telling us we're going to get through it. Instead of going, I'm scared, something bad could happen here, I'm suffering, and increasing that suffering and prolonging that suffering by what we're telling ourselves in our own thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be kind to ourselves. We got to be gentle to ourselves. We got to kind of let go of the reins. The chariot, who is always driving towards success and victory, doesn't even have reins. It's navigating through sheer friggin' telepathic power to begin with. So let's just remember that we're keeping life out in front of us, and we're just breathing, and we're just relaxing, and we're taking life as it comes, and we are honing our surfing skills. But the fact of the matter is, we already possess the skills to stay on that surfboard. We're fine-tuning it. All right, Pisces, I love you guys. I am going to dive into some messages here at this point, and we're just going to see what's going on. All right, you guys are getting, I love you unconditionally. I want to be more than friends. I have trouble with intimacy. I'm becoming a better person. And this connection is passionate but not enduring. And that's if you're dealing with a water sign, right? So here we go. If you're dealing with a fire sign, I wonder how you feel. I feel you even though we are apart. I would do it all again. I miss being with you. Everything will unfold in divine timing, and this relationship can stand the test of time. If you are dealing with an earth sign, the attraction you feel is mutual. Your soulmate loves and accepts and respects you. It was my fault, but I blamed you. Detach with love to clearly see the truth. I lost myself for a little while, and I wish I could share my good news with you. And if you are dealing with an air sign, you and this person don't share the same vision. Lean on your inner circle during this time. This is a destined partnership. I daydream about a life with you, and I don't want to know. All right, Pisces, I love you guys to pieces. I really hope that this message brought you some peace and clarity. Thank you to those of you who write the most beautiful comments, like just encouraging me to keep going. Which is how I really feel when you say things to me that like you're watching the video 3 times or that it is really helping you. I deeply appreciate it. I've had very hard situations in my own life that have caused my suffering, some that I thought I wasn't going to make it through. And so I have a lot of compassion and empathy if you're one of those people that's experiencing something like that. I'm just sending you a lot of love right now. You're not alone. You have a spirit team. You have angels around you. Talk to them. Ask them for help. Ask them for guidance. Ask them for relief from the suffering. But be kind to yourself always. And until next time, guys, I'm sending you off with all my very best. Always, always, always.